What's going on with the fuel situation in our country? What are the fuel prices going to do? Do we even have fuel available? I've heard so many different things. Well, I'm hoping to cover all of that in this video this afternoon, and also towards the end give you a way whereby you can know what the fuel price is going to be doing at the end of the month without having to wonder if what you are hearing is true. My name is Marinus de Kok. I am a service station owner in Cape Town, and I would like to just put some good information out there considering how much false information has been going on out there. A normal person looks at something online and can't imagine that someone has put that there deliberately to be false, misleading, and angering people. Yes, people get clicks. Sometimes I wonder, are the clicks really worth it? But anyway, that's what I want to do today. Put out some proper information. I completely welcome comments, questions, everything. If I say something that makes you angry, then maybe just post a comment. I don't want to write massive essays, but perhaps I can offer you a bit more information on that. I have found that once we know what's going on, we know how things work, then it helps us to just calm down a bit about the whole thing. So anyway, let's get straight into it. Just before I go ahead, let me just say I am an industry insider. Yes, I don't know how that makes you feel about me. I'm not some kind of expert on these things or an economist or anything like that. I am also very specifically wanting to say that I am not here representing any fuel brand, even though in my capacity as service station owner, I am obviously affiliated with a brand that I'm very proud of, but I do not represent their views here today. I'm not a spokesperson or employee for that company. Here I am in my personal capacity wanting to put some good information out there. So I did say let's get straight into it. Now let's get straight into it. Currently, we are looking at a massive increase in price for petrol and diesel coming this week. Current projections are around R5.80 increase per litre petrol and just over R10 per litre, R10.12 as it stands, per litre of diesel 50 ppm. Now that's obviously quite a big increase. That is obviously very stressful and has a lot of implications for all of us and for our economy. When do fuel prices change in South Africa? Typically, they change on the first Wednesday of every month. Why do I say typically? It's actually legally they change on the first Wednesday of every month. So when does the first Wednesday start? A Wednesday starts just after 11:59 on a Tuesday. So it's Tuesday night going into Wednesday that a fuel price changes. Again, the first Wednesday of every month. Now, that is legally the requirement for when petrol has to change in price. Diesel is unregulated. Anyone can sell it at any price, any day of the week. So just keep that in mind as we go forward. But you will see that most service stations will change petrol and diesel on the first Wednesday of every month at the start of the day, midnight, between Tuesday and Wednesday. Right. Why are we seeing such a crazy spike in the fuel prices? Well, everyone knows about the war in Iran, Strait of Hormuz, all kinds of things like that. So yes, that is the reason. It's the usual suspects. That's why our fuel prices change every month more often than not, is because of the input cost from the dollar exchange rate and the international oil market. In this case, we've seen a lot of countries are in trouble with supply and declaring emergency and this kind of thing. Let me tell you what I've heard and what I know is that South Africa has a diverse number of sources of fuel supply, of oil supply, and apparently our ships are coming through the Strait of Hormuz now. I'm not going to comment on that. The only thing I can tell you here is that I have not once heard one indication that we are short of fuel or that we are in a real danger of running out. As far as I know, that might change going forward, but at this stage, I'm looking at it and I'm going, I haven't heard any indication that we don't have fuel and that we need to worry about it running out here anytime soon. So let's just, for now at least, relax a bit about that. Okay, now what is going to happen, or what is happening? I'm hearing of service stations saying that they're out of fuel. I'm hearing very prominent people saying people are holding on to fuel. I am seeing some people raising their prices already. What's going on? let's unpack it a bit. Now, we are going to see that stock is tight right now. Stock, what I mean with that, I don't mean that we don't have oil or fuel. I mean that under the current circumstances where everyone is wanting to buy it, it's very hard for the supply chain and for everyone involved in the logistics around fuel to get that into the pump so it can go into your car. So right now, heading towards Wednesday, there is a massive bottleneck of everyone trying to buy fuel at the same time. And that is just causing a very normal constraint in supply. It's a temporary thing. It will probably resolve very early this week still, or very early after Wednesday. But from now until then, you are going to see some service stations run dry. You are going to see some panic and some concern. But stay calm. It is going to resolve. And towards the end of the week, yes, you're going to be paying a lot more for fuel, but the situation around it being available or not, that is going to calm down a lot. Now, what to make of what I'm hearing about places already putting their prices up and some people holding on to fuel supply. Now, before you get mad or you say to me, of course you would say that, let's just have a look at what's going on. Again, legally, diesel prices can change any day of the week or month, and people are allowed to do that. Some people have put up their prices already so as to avoid being kind of inundated with a request for stock. And but what I will also say to you is that at least one oil company in South Africa, one fuel brand, has actually from their side forced up the price early and told the petrol station owners, that this is going to be the diesel price from now already, and if you want to sell at a loss, you can go ahead. Now, I'm not going to say who that is. I'm not going to comment on it, but I'm sure you can find that in the media. That has happened. That is coming from the oil company side. So your local service station from that brand who you might be angry with today probably didn't have a choice to put up their prices already. And you might have noticed that they've put it down already. So again, just keep in mind that most service stations in this country are run by individual entrepreneurs and individual business people who really do want to keep you as a customer and really help you. So before you get too angry at them, and yes, sometimes they do stupid things, and there are going to be people this week doing stupid things, just make sure you got all the facts, and if you don't have all of them, just drive somewhere else for now and maybe check back in next week. Now, we've talked about people putting their prices up already. Let's talk about these diesel hoarders that you've heard about. Now, there's a big incentive for someone to be holding on to stock until after the price increase. The incentive is fairly obvious. I've bought something at the old price. Now I'm going to hold it until the price goes up, and then I'm going to sell it, and that is then just extra profit. And service stations definitely benefit from the stock that they already have on the day of a price increase. Likewise, they've always lost when the price goes down on all of the stock that they already have in their tanks on the day. But this time around, there is that incentive. What I will tell you is that there is a large constraint on deliveries of fuel at the moment. So a lot of service stations have already run dry. Ours has also run dry, even if it was just for a couple of hours due to a delay in the delivery. And everyone is experiencing way higher, up to 50% higher demand than they normally have. A lot of service stations have put a halt on bulk orders. Unfortunately, we also have had to do that just to try and help the customers that are actually going to be stopping there. Now, who is holding on to stock? I would tell you that it is going to be unlikely that if you stop at your local service station on Tuesday and they can't help you, that there's some guy sitting in the back jealously holding on to a couple of liters of diesel. Most service station owners, and I do mean most, not all of them, but most, will want to help your customers and will believe that it is short-sighted to try and make a couple of extra rands and not help someone who is a regular or who they hope to help again in future. Now, I have heard of some wholesalers. These are people who typically provide diesel to business end users. I've heard that a lot of those kind of players are holding diesel back, and that they are now forcing their customers into the retail market where you and I buy, and that has made things even tighter. So keep in mind that there are also levels to this. But again, before you stop at the local service station on Tuesday and decide to boycott them for the rest of your life, or shout or swear at the forecourt attendant, keep in mind that when they tell you they are out of stock, I promise you that in 99% of the cases, that is going to be the absolute truth. And in the event that it's not, you don't know it, I don't know it, and probably the forecourt attendant doesn't even know it. So again, just carry on with your life. And that's my suggestion. Those are my suggestions. Let me start with them. Equip yourself with real knowledge and real information at all times. Verify what you're hearing. Fill up tonight or tomorrow morning if you haven't already, and carry on with your life. It's not worth pushing up your blood pressure to try and score a couple of rands by standing in a queue on Tuesday and we're driving around, or that kind of thing. And again, before you boycott your local petrol station or shout at some forecourt attendant, just keep in mind that there are a lot of things going on here, and that life is maybe a bit too short for that kind of thing. So, are we glad that the fuel price is going up? You might not believe me, but petrol stations don't want higher fuel prices. We actually don't get a percentage of the fuel price. Our margin is regulated as an amount of cents per liter. That's the language we speak. I've removed the percentage button from my calculator years ago. How is the fuel price made up? Well, there's actually quite a detailed model that regulates it up to fractions of a cent. And you know what? You can say a lot about our government, you can say a lot about the Department of Energy, but even in this little country of ours, our government is actually quite efficient and quite transparent in terms of every single element that makes up the fuel price. And every month you can get a detailed, publicly available breakdown of the rationale for every reason why the fuel price has changed. And again, normally the input cost is the biggest factor, that determined by the dollar exchange rate and determined by the international oil market, the oil prices. I am going to do a future video to break this down in great detail, so stay tuned for that one. For now, let me just get into how you can know what the fuel price is going to be doing next month at any point in the month. So remember I said that there's a detailed model breaking down every element of the fuel price. It's going to come up now. The government looks at that at every point in the month, every day in the month, and they can see how much this model under or overestimates what the fuel price should be given all of the factors in the model. Sounds complicated? I'll break it down a lot better later. But what you can do is just go onto the Central Energy Fund's website. You click on the most recent date that's there, download the little report, and you can see the current over or under recovery on the model as it stands on that day. Now, what does that mean? A projection is only a projection. You are going to see what the most likely outcome is for the fuel price at the end of the month. You'll also see again that these amounts are in cents per liter, and I'll broken down for all the different products. But that can change, and that will change. I've seen big projected increases and decreases completely vanish over the course of a month. I've also seen a big increase or decrease appear over the course of the month, watching these projections every single day. So when you download this, you can see, well, as it stands, that's what's going to happen. But keep an eye on it as it changes right up to the point where they make the final change to the fuel prices. So there you have it for now. Let me know if there's any other information that you'd like from me. I'm not going to be writing massive essays, but again, let's rather focus on what is true than what we think or feel about it, so that we can be a bit kinder to each other. On that note, if you did enjoy this content here today, subscribe to our channel, send it around a bit. We are actually hoping to put some cool content out there about business, about service stations, about all kinds of things. So check out our channel going forward, and yeah, let me know if there's something specific you'd like me to cover. Thanks for joining. Cheers.